everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today to film my January book haul. Before we get started on the books, let's say hi to Libby Kitty. Hi, Libby Kitty. Yeah, she is like crazy today because we're having a huge snowstorm, and she keeps sitting up on the windowsill over here to my right and trying to bat at the snowflakes that are hitting the window. You know, even though she doesn't quite understand that they're outside. So anyway, I am here to film the book haul of the books that I brought into my house in January. Now, in 2020, I was filming the book haul wrapped up with my TBR talk because I was a little bit more controlled. I was not controlled in January. So I think there's too many to do with my TBR talk. So anyway, I'm just gonna do them separately. So the first two books I have to show you are books that you've already seen in my last video, and they are the two books that I bought to read for the Cuba theme for the month of January, and I've read both of these books. So we have Cuba, A New History by Richard Gott, a nonfiction, sort of academic type nonfiction, all about the history of Cuba from way, way back to present day. And then a young adult book of poetry called The Surrender Tree, Poems of Cuba's Struggle for Freedom by Margarita Engle. And this is actually translated from the Spanish, and this edition has, it's like two halves. So the first half is in English, and then the second half is in Spanish. So obviously I only read the English part because I don't read Spanish, but fabulous book. Then the next three books I brought into my house are the next three books that we need for the Book Naturalist Book Club. So the Book Naturalist Book Club is a book club that I'm hosting with Doris over at Aldi Books, and we're active. We have a handle on Twitter and Instagram at Book Naturalist. I will link it down below. We read World of Wonders in January, and in February we will be reading The Home Place, Memoirs of a Colored Man's Love Affair with Nature by J. Drew Lanham. So this, because it's Black History Month, in February we wanted to choose a book of nature writing written by a person of color. So this, I believe, J. Drew Lanham is an ornithologist, and this takes place in the South. Yes, South Carolina. So yeah, very excited to start that one in February. And then in March, we will be reading Ecology of a Cracker Childhood. This is by Jarisse Ray, and this one is in March for Doris's birthday. And Jarisse Ray grew up in Florida. So this is all about nature and growing up in Florida. And then for April, for Aussie April, we will be reading Island Home by Tim Winton. And this is all about nature in Australia. So that is going to be fabulous as well. Okay, so then I ended up going to my favorite independent bookstore, which is 2 hours away from my house. I hadn't been in a year or 10 months or something. I was able to turn in some books and get some book credit. So I picked up a book I need to read for the BookTube Prize. So the BookTube Prize long list has been announced. I will be reading in the nonfiction category in 2021. And I am nonfiction group A, which is a fabulous, fabulous category. And one of the books that I did not already own was Surviving Autocracy by Masha Gessen. I have not yet read any Masha Gessen, but I have wanted to read some works by this author because Doris read, I don't remember the name of the book, but it was about Soviet Union and Russia, I think. And of course, there's no listing of previous works. But anyway, I have to read this in this first round, so I picked it up. Looking forward to that. I think it's very appropriate for our current political times. I then picked up another book that both for the Book Naturalist Book Club and for potentially having to read it for the BookTube Prize at some point, because it is on the long list, although it's not in my group this time. And that is Entangled Life, How Fungi Make Our Worlds, Change Our Minds, and Shape Our Futures by Merlin Sheldrake. Natalie, a curious reader, I think was the first person I heard talk about this book. It sounds fabulous. The book is beautiful. I am super interested in fungi, and especially now that I've read several things that talk about how the fungi network is how trees and plants communicate with each other, or one of the ways they do. So very interested to read more about this. This is a very heavy book, which means that it's printed with nice paper. It has photos, which is always lovely. Look at that. Oh, gorgeous. Yes, very excited for that one. And then, of course, I had to pick up The Best American Science and Nature Writing is edited this time for 2020 by Michio Kaku. I hope I pronounced that right. I have to tell you that I'm not excited that they changed the format of the cover. So now when I put this on my shelf with my other science and nature writing collections, it's not going to match. Very frustrating. Okay, this next bunch of books, I'm blaming on Doris because she blamed one on me, so I'm blaming this one on her. So this is a Bookoutlet purchase, and I went on Bookoutlet because she told me that one of the books we need for later on in the year for book naturalists was on there, so I had to get that, obviously. And then it was buy 3, get 1 free, and I had a $5 coupon. And then in order to get free shipping, I had to pick out one more book. So, I mean, I got 5 books for under $35. Really good deal. So this is a book for the Book Naturalist Book Club later on in the year. This is The Way Through the Woods on Mushrooms and Mourning by Woon. And this is translated from the Norwegian by Barbara Havland. And again, naked hardback. Love, love, love. This book is so beautiful, and there is even some illustrations there. That's the word I was looking for. Illustrations in here. This is just a lovely object, as well as something I'm really interested in reading. And then again for book naturalists later on in the year, I have Darwin Comes to Town: How the Urban Jungle Drives Evolution by Menno Schilthuizen. I don't know. I didn't look up how to pronounce that name, so I apologize for that. But this, I'm interested very much in this. First of all, because anything with Darwin in the title makes me want to read it, but also urban environments. I got really interested. I mean, obviously interested in most things environmental, but oh crap, I can't remember the guy's name that Doris and I like, the naturalist from Tennessee. He talked a lot in his last book about urban environments and how much nature you can connect with in an urban environment. And so I think this book's gonna fill in some more gaps about that subject matter. I'm just reading the back little blurb here. It says, carrion crows in the Japanese city of Sendai have learned to use passing traffic to crack nuts. Lizards in Puerto Rico are evolving feet that better grip surfaces like concrete. Europe's urban blackbirds sing at higher pitch than their rural cousins to be heard over the din of traffic. Sounds awesome. Really excited for that one. And then keeping to the theme, although not for book naturalists, but just because I want to read it, I have here a little teeny tiny hardcover, Settled in the Wild, Notes from the Edge of Town by Susan Hand Shetterly. You will remember that I read a book by Susan Hand Shetterly last year, and it was one of my top nonfiction reads for the year. That was The Seaweed Chronicles. And then I saw this little book over on Pastori Time. I think Shawnee talked about this book in one of their piles that they went through during Vlogmas, which was so fabulous. And I was like, oh my God, I did not know that Susan Hand Shetterly had written other things, and like most of the stuff that she writes is in Maine. So this says, I just have to read you this because this is like what cemented it for me. Settled in the Wild takes us into the woods and along the shorelines, mudflats, and paths of rural Maine. I mean, how could I not, right? How could I not? Another book that was on the BookTube prize, but last year in 2020 that I've been wanting to pick up because everybody raves about this book and I just had not gotten to it yet. This is Sea People, The Puzzle of Polynesia by Christina Thompson. This is the quest to understand who first settled the islands of the remote Pacific, where they came from, how they got there, and what we know, or how we know, excuse me. And again, has a map on the end papers, which love, has pictures. in the middle. So, you know, it has all the things that I love, and everybody raves about this book, how good it is. So I'm really excited to finally have my own copy of it. And then last but certainly not least is a book that I wanted to get because of Sean the Book Maniac, Paying the Land by Joe Sacco. This is a graphic novel that talks about the Dene people, which are First Nations people that are in the northern part of North America, what is now Canada. And Sean just raved about this book. And then more recently, Beth Ann talked about it on her channel as a book that she really loved. I think she read it last month. I was very sad though that my book came damaged. Sad. The cover was dented in, but I mean, I got it for such a good price, and it's a nice hardcover, naked hardcover, and the inside is fine. And I just want to show you the very first page of this because I think it's just beautiful. So look at that. It says, "You find yourself in the circle." That's the title. And it says, "My grandfather tells me that when they were traveling in a moose skin boat, that's when I came into the world." Oh, so excited to read that book. Awesome. I am thrilled beyond measure that I have gotten all these books into my house. I think they are all nonfiction. Yes, they are all nonfiction. So right up my alley. Most of them are nature nonfiction, also right up my alley. So thrilled to have these books in my possession. Can't wait to read them. Can't wait to talk to you about them. I hope that you were able to bring some wonderful new books into your home this past month. Tell me about them in the comments down below, and I will talk to you later.